You bring home a beautiful, healthy plant. You water it perfectly. You place it right next to a bright window. You do everything exactly by the book. But 2 weeks later, the leaves start turning yellow. Then they droop. And suddenly, for no obvious reason, the plant completely dies. It's incredibly frustrating. You start believing that you just don't have a green thumb, and that you are destined to kill every plant you touch. But here is a secret: the problem is not you. The problem is the plant you chose. Most beginners buy plants that are notoriously difficult to keep alive indoors. Today, I'm giving you the ultimate list, the top 10 indoor plants that are practically impossible to kill. These are the survivors. In fact, there is one specific, hidden mistake almost every beginner makes that guarantees plant death. I'll share exactly what it is, and the simple fix, halfway through this video. I'm also going to reveal a secret trick later on how to make your plants look twice as bushy without buying anything new. Let's start with number 1. Part 1, the snake plant. The ultimate survivor. If there is a plant that thrives on absolute neglect, it is the snake plant. It features thick, architectural, sword-like leaves. Let me tell you a quick story about why this is my number 1 recommendation. 2 years ago, I traveled for an entire month during the hottest part of summer. I left my snake plant in a dry room with 0 water. When I finally unlocked my apartment door weeks later, expecting a disaster, that plant hadn't just survived, it had actually grown a new leaf. Pro tip for the snake plant: treat it exactly like a desert cactus. Only give it water when the soil is completely, 100% dry. Overwatering is its only weakness. Part 2, the ZZ plant. The low-light king. If your apartment feels like a dark cave, the ZZ plant will still find a way to grow. It has shiny, thick, waxy leaves that naturally reflect whatever tiny amount of light is available in the room. It always looks healthy. Underneath the soil, the ZZ plant has thick rhizomes. They look like small potatoes. These act as emergency water tanks. These tanks store massive amounts of water. That means if you completely forget to water it for 6 straight weeks, it simply uses its own reserves. Part 3, the Golden Pothos. The communicator. This is the classic beginner trailing plant. It grows incredibly fast and actually talks to you. Well, it communicates visually. When the pothose is thirsty, the leaves physically droop down in a dramatic way. It looks totally exhausted. But the moment you water it, within just 4 hours, the leaves stand right back up, looking perfect again. It takes all the guesswork out of watering. Remember that secret trick I mentioned earlier to make your plants look incredibly bushy? It applies perfectly to the pothose, and I'll explain exactly how to do it in just a minute. Part 4, the spider plant. The giver. If you want a plant that constantly rewards you for minimal effort, the spider plant is it. It's also completely safe for pets. As it grows, it produces these tiny little babies that hang down on long stems, looking like little spiders on a web. Pro tip: spider plants are slightly sensitive to the fluoride found in normal tap water. If you ever notice the very tips of the leaves turning brown, don't panic. Just switch to using filtered water, or let your tap water sit out overnight before watering. The new growth will be perfectly green. Part 5, the cast iron plant. The unbreakable. The name really says it all. In the 1800s, people kept these in dark, smoke-filled houses, and they still survived. It does not care about dust. It does not care about cold drafts near windows. And it definitely doesn't care if you forget to water it. Now, before we move to plant number 6, we need to talk about that fatal beginner mistake I warned you about at the beginning of the video. Part 6, the fatal mistake. The number 1 killer of indoor plants is not underwatering. Most plants survive droughts. The real killer is overwatering inside pots with no drainage holes. When water sits trapped at the very bottom of a decorative pot, the roots suffocate, rot, and die. The plant essentially drowns. The fix is simple: always keep your plant in a plastic nursery pot that has holes at the bottom. Then, drop that plastic pot into your beautiful decorative pot. Never plant directly into a pot without a hole. Part 7, the Peace Lily. The Drama Queen. This is one of the very few beginner-friendly plants that will actually reward you with elegant white flowers indoors. Like the pothos, the peace lily is incredibly dramatic. When it needs water, the entire plant completely collapses. It genuinely looks dead. But give it a good soak in the sink, and by the next morning, it miraculously revives and stands tall again. It's an amazing teacher for beginners learning when to water. Part 8, Aloe Vera. The Practical Choice. This succulent looks modern, requires almost zero effort, and is actually a useful tool to have in your apartment. If you accidentally burn your finger while cooking in the kitchen, you can snap off the tip of an aloe leaf and apply the cool, soothing gel directly to your skin. The only rule for aloe is bright light. It loves sitting right on a sunny windowsill. Water it deeply, but very, very rarely. Part 9, Chinese Evergreen. The Color Splash. Most plants with bright, colorful leaves require high humidity, greenhouses, and intense daily care. But not the Chinese evergreen. Also known as aglaonema, it comes in stunning shades of pink, red, and silver, yet it survives perfectly in dry apartment air. Part 10, the bushy trick revealed. Remember the secret I promised for making your pothos thicker? Here is the secret: stop letting one single vine grow forever. Instead, take scissors and cut the long vine into smaller pieces. Put those cuttings in a glass of water until they grow little white roots. Then, plant those rooted cuttings right back into the top of the exact same pot. The pot fills out, and suddenly you have a massive, thick, luxury-looking plant for free. Part 11, Monstera deliciosa. The statement piece. Also known as the Swiss cheese plant. It grows huge, stunning leaves with natural splits and holes. Despite looking like an exotic jungle diva, it is incredibly forgiving. Give it bright, indirect light, and let the soil dry out halfway before watering. Part 12, the Rubber Plant. The Indoor Tree. For our final plant, we have a sturdy option with thick, glossy, deep green leaves that almost look artificial. It's a slow, steady grower that brings vertical height to a room. Pro tip for this one: wipe the large leaves with a damp cloth every month. Dust blocks sunlight. Clean leaves allow the rubber plant to breathe and photosynthesize properly, keeping it healthy and shiny. Part 13, your next step. You don't need a green thumb to have a beautiful apartment. You just need the right plants and a simple system. Start with just 1 or 2 plants from this list. Master their care. Let them build your confidence. Soon, your apartment will transform into a calm, living space. Now that you have the right plants, you need to know exactly how to avoid ruining them. Click the video on screen right now to watch 10 plant care mistakes beginners make, and how to fix them. Subscribe to the Urban Leaf. Growing calm in small spaces. I'll see you in the next video.